Great practices, they have lots of patients. Even if you're a boutique practice or a really high fee-for-service practice, I don't care. I think you just need lots of new patients every month. I've seen many times a doctor will take over a new practice, the exact same patients, the exact same staff, but suddenly they will do twice as much dentistry.
Sicker than your average, sicker than your average. Sicker than your average, sicker than your average.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Lifestyle Practice Podcast. I'm Steve Vandegraff, and I'm excited to be with you guys. I'm your host for today. Recently, I spoke with a dentist who was thinking about going back to school, to residency, to specialize. His basic question was, could he make more financially as a specialist? He had a brochure from the ADA or someone that had the average income of every specialist, and he picked out the highest one and said, I'm thinking about going back to do that. And the GP versus specialist topic is something we've all considered at one point. Dental students listening, you guys are probably, beating your brains over this right now. But I'll just share with you what I shared with him, and that is you should do what you enjoy. If there's something in dentistry that you love, I think it's great to specialize in that. I think that would be very enjoyable and more fulfilling for you. Good reason to do it. But don't just do it because you think you'll make more financially. Because really, my message for you today is the sky is really the limit for a standout GP practice. A specialist, whether it's ortho, endo, surgery, or whatever, they do well because they narrow their focus down and they get really good at doing one thing. They're so skilled in that specific area that they're compensated better for their special ability. Well, even as a GP, you can do a couple key things at a very special level and do just as well. These could be specialist procedures if you like them. I know dentists that are all on X dentists. I know other, cosmetic dentists. There's so many ways to do very well. So if you want to do specialty procedures and make your practice about that, you can. But you don't need to be a super dentist that does all the specialty procedures to do well. I'm going to just share something about my practice. This week, I looked over the numbers from the past year. In the last 12 months, we did just short of 2.5, and about 97 to 98% of what we did was fillings, crowns, extractions, dentures, and cleanings. 5 procedures, basically 97 to 98% of all of our production. That's just plain old, boring as it gets, bread and butter dentistry. Mix in a little endo and a little, some implants here and there. And reading this, I actually want to do more of those. But it was just a pretty vivid lesson to me that you can do spectacularly well just doing general dentistry. So I want you today to become a GP specialist. By being very special at the most important things in your practice. What are these things? I'll share a couple points that really helped me in my practice. The first is diagnosis and case acceptance. How much treatment do you see, and how good are you at communicating with patients to help them say yes to that treatment? I've seen many times a doctor will take over a new practice with the exact same patients, the exact same staff, but suddenly they will do twice as much dentistry. Why? Because they see more, they diagnose more, and then they tell the patient confidently what they need, and they do the dentistry. This is a skill, just like a specialty procedure that you learn in residency. If you can master this, it will just change your practice and your career. Usually this involves helping patients accept more costly but longer lasting and better dentistry that isn't the cheapest option. That's what we should do. But even then, in your GP practice, there's going to be patients that aren't ready for that. And they want to do other dentistry that may help them in their position. And you can still do well doing that. I'm not perfect at case presentation, but one thing I have found very helpful that I've developed in my practice is to begin an exam with some open-ended questions to find out what the patient wants and then what kind of patient they are. Is this somebody that values dental care and wants to do the best thing for their mouth? These are the best patients. Or is this somebody that, they'll open up and let you know most of the time that I just want to do what my insurance covers. So it's not ideal, but there's a lot of dentistry to be done for these folks. And then, maybe the last option would be patients that don't care about their teeth. They want to get them out. They hate the dentist and they want to be done with their teeth. When I speak with patients, I always will at least present the most ideal option and try to bring them up to that. If they say yes, that's awesome. A good portion of your treatment should be, if we're doing things right, in that top tier. But if patients want something different, whether it's just, their insurance covers or, heaven forbid, take things out, it's important to be able to treatment plan effectively and quickly. It's important to be able to treatment plan effectively, but also quickly these other options, and then get them a treatment plan in their hand that says how much it's going to cost so they can say yes. Understanding what people want, finding a solution for them, and then getting them a clear, simple treatment plan with an exact cost will help people say yes. Mastering this, like you'd master a specialty procedure, will make a huge difference in your practice. You may think this is very basic in a sense, but if you do this well, you can take your practice to the next level. Another thing for you to specialize in, becoming a producer. So after you see the dentistry, you tell the patient about it, doing it efficiently. I'm not talking about doing it fast. This isn't about blazing hand speed. It's more about the mindset that you are going to make the most out of every appointment. This means you prioritize your schedule for larger treatment. You do more in each appointment, which is better for the patient and it's better for you. You become a let's do it right now person rather than a put it off person. And so you're saying no to that lazy voice in the back of your head that says, I can finish this next visit. No, we're going to do this right now. We're working now. Let's get it done. This mindset extends to your staff. I'm working with a dentist and he called me a couple of weeks ago and he said he just took over a practice and he said that he has one assistant that tells patients, okay, we're just going to work on this one tooth or we're just going to do this one area right after he goes in and tells the patient, everything that we're going to do. That's working against you instead of for you. Whether that's because the staff wants to get out early or they're concerned about money, whatever it is, your staff needs to share your mentality that we're going to do a lot of dentistry today. In my practice, we see a lot of limited exams because we try to get people in right away. And every treatment plan my staff presents to those limited exams, the default is we're going to do this today. So we go through the exam, kind of what I just outlined. My assistant will bring in a treatment plan, go over it with them. If the patient says yes, she'll say, would you like to start that today? If the patient says yes, my assistant sets up for the appointment, gets the x-rays, any prescriptions, it's all ready. Then they come and grab me and say the patient in room 1 is doing that crown today. They're ready for you. I go in, numb them up, and then we just kind of rinse and repeat. It's this system and a flow that we get into where our goal is to do as much dentistry as possible. So this is not about super hand speed. That's not the difference maker. It's the expectation of our team that we're working together efficiently to maximize every opportunity. For our last point, something that I think every GP needs to become a specialist in is new patient acquisition. Great practices, they have lots of patients. Even if you're a boutique practice or a really high fee-for-service practice, I don't care. I think you just need lots of new patients every month. For this, you need to stand out. There's X amount of dentists in your area and there's X amount of patients. You have to be different. The first step of this, getting to base camp, is you have to have a ton of great reviews. Not a few really good ones, not some, but you just need a ton of really good reviews. If you don't have a real strong flow of new patients in your practice right now, and you don't have at least a few hundred reviews, I would just go all out blitz. A big portion of your focus every day is getting 5-star reviews. You've got to get to that level. A practice that's oriented to new patients does not miss phone calls. And they get patients when they do call, they get them in right away. Just like your clinical staff has the mindset to do treatment today, can we start this now? Your front desk has the same mindset on capitalizing on every phone call. We're going to answer the phone, we're going to convert this patient, and we're going to get you in within the next day or two. It's just the MO that your front desk has to have to get new patients and get them in quick. To become a specialist in getting new patients, you have to learn to market. You can't just wave it off and say, oh, I'm not good at that. It's uncomfortable. You're right. None of us are good at it. Marketing is uncomfortable. It really is. It's like the last thing any of us want to do. But sorry, if you want to have an uncommon practice, you have to face this. You have to get good at it. If you're not comfortable, act like you're comfortable until you get good at it. If you need to, invest in some professional help to come in and do marketing for you and with you. But you need to market. Another important part of new patient acquisition is turning your existing patients into ambassadors of your practice. Ask them to bring their family and friends in. Ask them when you schedule an appointment, what other family members can we schedule at this time? Treat your patients so great that they can't help but talk to other patients about you. I've been in my practice for a few years, but I'm fortunate to be at the point where all of our new patients essentially come from word of mouth referrals from other patients and Google reviews. Now, it's taken a while to get to that point. It took a lot of momentum to build up to this. You're going to have to probably, pay for clicks and mailers and ads. But if you do it enough and you get enough, you're going to need to invest in advertising and clicks and mailers. When you get to that point, your practice is just gravy. It's great. Remember, a strong practice needs a strong flow of new patients, pretty much without exception. Now, you may be listening to those 3 points that I just gave you, and you may be thinking, yeah, I've heard this before. Talking to patients, being productive, getting new patients. This isn't new stuff, right? I've heard it before. But guess what? If you're not completely happy with where your practice is right now, don't sell yourself short, then it's very likely that you're underperforming in one of these things. So if you want to specialize, do it. If you love ortho or peds or endo or whatever it is, I think you should do it. But if you just want to do very well in dentistry, become a GP specialist. Master the things that you do every day. Like I mentioned earlier, my practice is almost completely bread and butter. Stuff that you learned in dental school is what I do now. But we're fortunate to do very well, and my family has a lot of opportunity because we've just mastered those crucial parts of a GP practice. Just like a specialist will go to residency and just invest so much time and energy in learning a certain specific thing, dive deep. Put yourself through a residency in each of these points where you study and you really systematize these so that you're just a master at them. It's going to be hard. It's a lot of work, but I promise you it's worth it. And you can do it just as a GP. If you need help, if you want to get to this point or get there faster, please just reach out to us. Steve, Derek, or Matt at thelifestylepractice.com. You can also go to our website, thelifestylepractice.com. There's a big button that says submission. You can send us some information about you or your practice. We respond to every submission, and we would be happy to connect with you. With that, everybody, I hope you have a great week.
Sicker than your average, sicker than your